This is the heroic 25-man Naxxramas boss, Gothik the Harvester. The room where the Gothic fight takes place consists of two sides, which are referred to as the live side and the dead side. The dead side can be identified by the piles of bones all about the room. The gate separating the two sides will be closed when the fight begins, separating the live side from the dead side. So make sure that you have your team ready and that each person is on the side to which they are assigned before the fight begins. The Gothic fight goes through two phases. In Phase 1, Gothik will summon adds on the live side of the room which will be killed and will spawn as an undead version of themselves on the dead side. Unrelenting riders on the live side will spawn as a spectral rider as well as a spectral horse on the dead side after the live side has killed them. On the live side you'll have a lot of unrelenting trainees, which are non-elites, and they can use a spell called Death Plague. This will be cast every time they hit you with melee. It's a disease that does 170 nature damage every 3 seconds for 15 seconds. It will stack forever, so be careful. It is dispellable. About 35 trainees will spawn in total throughout the fight. They're easy to get down, so just burn through them. Also, the live side will have to deal with Unrelenting Death Knights. These are elite, and you'll have to handle a total of 14 throughout the encounter. They can use Intercept Stun, as well as Shadow Mark. It's a whirlwind type of attack that will give you a debuff if you get hit. It hits for about 5k damage on a tank. Finally, the live side will have 4 Unrelenting riders throughout the fight. These will use Unholy Aura, which does 500 damage every 2 seconds to any raid member nearby. It'll last until the rider is killed. The riders will also use Shadow Bolt Volley, which hits people that have the Shadow Mark debuff for about 6k. Phase 1 on the dead side will have corresponding undead mobs, beginning with the spectral trainees that spawn from the trainees on the live side. These are still non-elite, but now they use Arcane Explosion, which hits for about 700 damage. It's an AoE with a 20-yard range. Next, the dead side will have Spectral Death Knights. They're just like the Death Knights on the live side, except instead of Shadow Mark, they use Whirlwind. It hits for about 4k on tanks. Finally, the dead side will have to deal with the Spectral Riders and Horsemen. The Riders use Unholy Aura, causing 500 damage every 2 seconds to nearby players, as well as Drain Life, which drains 12k life from the tank over 5 seconds. The Spectral Horses will just use Stomp, which is an AoE causing 2 to 3k damage in a 10-yard radius, and slowing down anyone that's affected by the Stomp. In Phase 2, which will begin a little over 4.5 minutes into the fight, Gothik will come down from the balcony on the living side. Mobs will have stopped spawning by this point. Gothik will cast Shadow Bolt on the tank over and over. This is a 1-second cast and does 4.5 to 5.5k damage. He'll also use a spell called Harvest Soul about every 15 seconds. It reduces the stats of everyone in the raid by 10% and can stack up to 10 times. As long as you can keep up with the spawning adds, both on the live side and the dead side, the Gothic fight should be relatively easy. Once Gothik comes down, it's pretty much a tank and spank fight. Make sure that before the fight begins, you have half your raid, including half your tanks, half your DPS, and half your healers on each side of the gate. When the riders spawn, make sure a tank picks them up immediately. They are heavy hitters and should be the priority for the DPS. Good communication is key for this fight. The dead side should be giving cues to the live side, telling them to speed up or slow down the DPS so they don't get overrun with undead versions of the live side mobs. The live side should be careful not to kill a rider before the dead side has killed the spectral rider and horse on their side. Once Gothik comes down, just beat him down before you get 10 Harvest Soul debuff stacks and you'll be just fine. We hope you enjoy the rest of the video. Boozin Bullies wishes you the best loot and luck in your next boss encounter.
This morning I had a scone and a large house blend, then a little conversation with my squirrel and chipmunk friends. I said I'm sick and tired of winter and I wish that it was spring. Then a little fella named Robin Redbreast began to sing, and he sang, "Ooh child, what'd you think of cold winter's gonna last forever? Ooh child, now's the time for all the people to get together outside, 'cause it's the first of May, maybe I'll see you in flagrante delicto. Grass below you, sky above. Celebrate spring with a crazy little thing called fucking outside. I thanked him for the information. I cried a little when he flew away. I watched an episode of the People's Court and I tried to plan my day. I called up my old lady. She wasn't home, so I called my girl. I asked her if she'd like to join me as I entertain the world. And I said, ooh, child, I'll bring a blanket and I promise I will brush the ants off. Ooh, child, you're gonna like it when we're taking each other's pants off outside. Cause it's the first of me. Outdoor fucking starts today. So bring your favorite lady, or at least your favorite lay. Water's not cold, baby, dip in your big toe. Maybe I'll see you in flagrante delicto. Grass below you, sky above. Celebrate spring with a crazy little thing called fucking outside. We went to the park together. We were walking in the midday sun. We met all kinds of people and we fucked everyone. We fucked the lady who sells ice cream. We fucked a man with a tan sharp head. Everyone who needed fucking, well, they got fucked today. So come on, ooh, child, open your mind and your heart, feel the spirit moving